7:58 on Wednesday, May 11th, 2022. This is my video journal. I'm Mitch Miller. And my spouse is in Ireland for 2 weeks. I noticed the past 2 nights that the electronics on her side of the room are making high-pitched radio frequency noises. There's a sun lamp that I bought for her. Has a sunlight lamp that comes on, and it's a radio. It's a AM/FM radio and alarm clock. And as the alarm clock comes on, it plays sounds and puts the sun lamp on, like the sun rising. There's also an aromatherapy heater thing that heats up oil, and so those are all plugged in on her side of the room. I don't know which one's making the sounds. But another time when she was gone, that sun lamp AM/FM radio switched to 12 o'clock when it was 5 in the p.m., like it was reset or hacked via radio signal. That's also the direction of my neighbor's house, the neighbor that worked for Hollywood as a location scout. Her second story of her house is a direct shot to my bedroom. If you had a radio frequency device, you could point it within her second story's room and point it directly at my bedroom. My bedroom sticks out beyond most of the other houses in our row, but it's at a catty corner through the alleyway direction. Now, I've talked about satellites inundating us with radio frequency from above. And when I was in Denmark, before I fled to Denmark, I was at a thrift store and I bought a little pocket radio. Had an antenna about this long and a speaker. AM/FM radio. Took 2 or 3 trip AA batteries. Now, I could never get it to tune into a specific station and stay there. Never worked for me in the United States. But for some reason, I took it with me to Denmark, Germany and Denmark. What do you do when you're running from a satellite shooting you with radio waves? You try to prove it to people. So I had this radio and it was static, but it would pick up different frequencies and fluctuate in static and sounds. And I took that as proof that something was shooting me from a satellite. In fact, I believed I was being tracked when I went to hotels, even though I didn't make a reservation. I just went in and said, "Do you have a vacancy?" They would look up the room, find the vacancy, and take my passport information, enter it into their computer, so therefore foreign intelligence agencies would know which room I was in from my passport information. So I was at a Marriott in Copenhagen on the Riverwalk, and I checked into that hotel room and I was having trouble sleeping and stuff. So I turned the radio on and I put it in front of the TV, because I figured they could hack the TV and listen through the speakers if there wasn't already a microphone in that TV. So I set the radio right in front of the TV, and I had the antenna sticking out 3 feet in front of the TV. And I left the static on all night as I laid in bed. And you could hear the frequency coming down and striking that antenna from above. It fluctuated, the sounds fluctuated, the statics fluctuated, the high-pitched noises fluctuated. all night. The TV was off. It was on standby or off. So I thought, maybe the intelligence agencies will record this so that they can prove that I'm being tortured by satellite. They probably never did. They probably didn't care I was at the Marriott and never bothered to hack into their internet or television system. If I took it to a politician or the media and said, listen to this static, it means that there's radio frequency striking my skull, they would laugh me out of the room. They would say, you're insane, you're schizophrenic. Eventually I lost the radio, or someone stole it. It was a very special radio. Never tuned into a station, just picked up different spectrums of radio frequency. So that being said, I've said that a satellite might have targeted my house, my property, tortured me in my own home. The other option is that my neighbor to the rear, catty corner on Hillary's side, had a device in her house pointed at my bedroom, and the house across the street that's owned by a former district attorney had a device pointed at the front of my house, shooting invisible wireless waves into my house, causing me discomfort, anxiousness, night sweats, sleeplessness. I've said that these devices were probably developed for good reason, and it might be to try to disperse hostage situations, or in the Middle East, a known terrorist might be in a house and they could engage these devices at the property, make an announcement over the loudspeaker, you are now being inundated with wireless waves that could cause permanent damage. You should evacuate the house immediately, and wait for them to evacuate. But if you never make that announcement, if you just point those things at somebody's house, and you never make the announcement, hey, you should evacuate, this could cause damage, you're going to be anxious, sleepless, that's torture. So, did they turn these devices back on now that my wife's gone? I don't know. It's probably just the Navy SEALs trying to hack my radios in my bedroom and my TV to listen like they do in the Middle East and other countries. Or maybe for some reason I'm picking up those devices putting off sound now. But the least an intelligence agency could do, the least they could do, knowing that I've claimed that I've been tortured, is to try to prevent this from happening, or at least monitoring my house to see if any foreign waves that aren't AM, FM, cell phone, Wi-Fi are entering my house. And they could do this through my two televisions. I have a television in my living room towards the front of the house. It's a newer smart television. And it's hooked up to a large HD antenna, capable of taking software. It's also plugged into the internet, into my internet network. Could download the software onto it to pick up all types of frequencies, not just the AM, FM, Wi-Fi, and cellular. I have a TV in my bedroom. It is a Sharp Aquos. It is not a smart television. I bought it in 2007 and I bought it brand new in 2007. But it is capable of having software downloaded to it. You may have to have a USB to download software onto it. But I'm sure someone could develop software. It's also connected to a antenna behind the TV that picks up HD signals. And I'm sure you could download the software to scan for other frequencies striking my house. So I feel that's the least that they could do. Now you could send me a USB drive through the mail with instructions on how to download this software to my Sharp Aquos television and how to sync it up with, I don't know, the Verizon hotspot down the street here so that you can monitor the waves in my house. Or you can do nothing. I'm not restless, anxious, sleepless, or having night sweats. I'm on my medication, helps me sleep, even through probably high volumes of wireless waves. So I'm not too worried about it. I've lived through it once. I'll continue to live through it. If I was President of the United States, I'd be in Washington, D.C., the wireless wave capital of the world. Probably more wireless waves per capita in that city than most other places. So I'd have to live in it for at least 8 years. So I guess it's all conditioning, right? Anyhow, that's my little diatribe on wireless waves and my little radio I carried around with me in the EU. If the recording exists from my stay in the Marriott, well, use it how you think it is appropriate. Thanks for watching, and join me next time. I'm going to listen to the Penguins hopefully win the first round of the playoffs.